Tehran has a plan to sink an American aircraft carrier. On paper, it should work. Launch 300 missiles simultaneously from hidden coastal batteries, swarm the target with 50 fast attack boats, deploy naval mines, overwhelm the defenses through sheer numbers. Iranian commanders have run the simulation 1,000 times. The math checks out. There's just one problem. They've never run it against CVN-72. January 2026, the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is 72 hours from executing their plan. The Pentagon is out of options, so they gamble the entire Pacific theater and send one ship to stop them. Not because it's the newest, not because it's the biggest, because when Iranian planners finally do the math on this carrier, the real math with real capabilities, real combat records, real numbers, the equation writes itself. And the answer is, don't even try. USS Abraham Lincoln, CVN-72, fifth ship of the Nimitz class, has an operational record that dwarfs every competitor. 295 consecutive days at sea in 2020. No port calls, no maintenance breaks, just sustained operations while maintaining 24/7 flight operations at 100% combat readiness. In comparison, China's carriers manage 90 days maximum before requiring refueling. Russia's Kuznetsov hasn't left port in 3 years, still broken after catching fire. Britain's Queen Elizabeth conducts 6-month deployments. Lincoln did 10 months straight. But the ship sailing today isn't the vessel it launched in 1989. Between 2013 and 2017, the Navy invested $3 billion in complete rebuild, refueling and complex overhaul, RCOH. 4 years in dry dock, technicians pulled nuclear cores, ripped out every outdated system, then rebuilt with new reactors, fiber optics, and sensors that didn't exist when the ship was designed. Most critically, Lincoln became the first Nimitz-class carrier modified specifically for the F-35C Lightning II. Not just compatible, but optimized. Reinforced jet blast deflectors, classified briefing rooms built into the hull, systems enabling capabilities other platforms can't support. The result? Fifth-generation capability inside a proven hull. Combat-proven credentials also helped seal the selection. 18 months earlier in the Red Sea, Iranian-backed Houthi forces launched anti-ship ballistic missiles at commercial vessels. Lincoln's crew shot them down, multiple intercepts under actual combat conditions. When sprint orders came, this was the crew that already knows what incoming fire looks like on an Aegis radar scope. 2 Westinghouse A4W nuclear reactors provided unlimited range. Lincoln covered 4,500 nautical miles in 8 days without slowing for fuel, arriving in the Persian Gulf region by late January. But speed was just delivery. The real weapon was parked on the flight deck. Here's what most analysts miss. In 2026, stealth isn't a magic cloak anymore. Iran knows it. Tehran integrated the Resonance NE radar, a very high-frequency VHF over-the-horizon system operating on metric wavelengths. Standard targeting radars use X-band. Stealth aircraft deflect those waves. But when radio waves match aircraft physical dimensions, tail or wing, they create resonance. Iranian commanders can detect F-35C presence from hundreds of miles away. On paper, America's stealth advantage evaporated, but detection isn't targeting. The Resonance NE provides azimuth and range, but lacks precision to guide missiles. To shoot, Iran needs handoff to high-frequency engagement radars like those on S-300 systems. That's when the U.S. Navy's kill chain activates. Carrier Air Wing 9 fields 75 aircraft, centered on 10 F-35C Lightning II stealth fighters from Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 314. Electric Attack Squadron 133 flies EA-18G Growlers, equipped with ALQ-249 next-generation jammer, not noise barrage, but directed digital energy attack. Here's the reality. Resonance NE detects disturbance and attempts to cue S-300 fire control. EA-18G Growlers jam the communication link and blind fire control radar instantly. The ALQ-249 isolates specific frequencies, flooding them with false targets. Iranian operators get low-resolution contact, but no firing solution. Meanwhile, F-35Cs operate passively. They don't emit radar. They use sensors to triangulate Resonance NE location based on its own emissions. The hunter becomes the prey. F-35C pilots designate coordinates and engage with standoff weapons. The Resonance NE is neutralized through superior electronic warfare integration. Once the radar network degrades, Super Hornets provide strike mass. 3 squadrons field 36 aircraft carrying over 600,000 pounds of ordnance, striking command centers, missile sites, and naval bases now rendered blind. All of these is networked lethality, not one invisible plane, but the entire air wing dismantling enemy kill chain capability. Managing everything from 300 miles away is the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye, tracking targets at 300 miles, managing over 1,000 contacts simultaneously. This isn't just air superiority, this is air dominance so complete that the adversary can't effectively contest it. Iran's entire strategy relies on one assumption: overwhelming American defenses through sheer numbers. Launch hundreds of missiles, deploy dozens of fast attack boats, saturate the system. Supreme Leader Khamenei's advisors warn of annihilation strikes. IRGC commanders boast about Fatah-1 hypersonic missiles allegedly capable of overwhelming Aegeus. But there's a mathematical problem with that strategy, and it's catastrophic for Tehran. 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers escort Lincoln, carrying nearly 300 vertical launch system cells. The Aegis Combat System creates Cooperative Engagement Capability, CEC. All 3 destroyers share radar data in real time. One ship's radar guides another ship's missile. Overlapping coverage, 300 interceptors that can shoot from anywhere in the formation. Here's what happens when Iranian coastal batteries launch 50 missiles simultaneously. 3 seconds after launch, Aegis classifies every threat, calculates trajectories, prioritizes based on speed and impact probability, assigns interceptors automatically. Destroyers fire. SM-3s climb past Mach 4. At 100,000 feet, kinetic warheads separate. Kinetic energy alone suffices. 40 Iranian missiles disappear. Intercepted, destroyed. 10 might still fly, maybe. But here's the cost equation. Every radar that is turned on gets marked for destruction. Every launch site is targeted. Every command bunker erased. For 10 missiles that might penetrate, Iran loses its entire coastal network in one night. That's not deterrence through threats, that's deterrence through math. Iranian planners understand the equation and choose to do nothing. Fast forward to January 18, 2026, Strait of Malacca. Lincoln enters under standard security protocols, darkened ship, minimal lighting, reduced emissions, but you can't hide 97,000 tons of steel moving at 25 knots. Iranian cargo vessel Arvin appeared, matching carrier speed exactly, 2 miles off starboard. Recording everything, photographing aircraft, timing escort patterns. In 12 hours, this intelligence would be in Tehran. Pentagon's response? Nothing. No countermeasures, no intercept. This wasn't a security failure, it was the entire strategy. Iran needed to see what was coming. They needed planners to review data and do the math. 1 nuclear-powered carrier, 3 destroyers with 300 VLS cells, 75 aircraft including F-35C stealth and EA-18G jammers, combat-proven crew that shot down ballistic missiles, and an operational record of 295 consecutive days at sea. The calculation writes itself. Deterrence isn't about secrecy. It's about demonstrating capability so overwhelming that escalation becomes pointless. Iran saw everything, reported everything, and chose to do nothing. That's victory without a shot fired. The Strait of Hormuz is 21 miles wide, geopolitically the world's most critical choke point. 21 million barrels of oil pass through daily, roughly 20% of global consumption. For decades, Iran developed anti-access area denial A2AD strategy. Thousands of ballistic and cruise missiles along the coast, swarms of fast attack boats, naval mines to freeze shipping. The goal? Make this strait impassable in conflict. Lincoln's deployment fundamentally alters this calculus, shifting from area denial to sea control. Iran's strategy relies on concealment, hiding launchers, and saturation, firing everything at once. Lincoln's air wing dismantles both. F-35Cs aren't just strikers, they're intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance platforms. Operating inside contested airspace, they detect and map mobile missile batteries without being tracked. If Tehran prepares to launch, the U.S. Navy likely knows grid coordinates before the first missile fires. The strike group provides deep strike options. American commanders don't wait for Iran to close the strait. With F-35C and E-2D data, Super Hornets execute precision strikes against threat sources, command nodes, and launch sites inland, rather than just intercepting missiles over water. This creates a strategic dilemma. Attempting to close Hormuz reveals locations of most valuable assets. Once engaged, they become visible. Once visible, Lincoln's air wing neutralizes them. The cost of closing the strait for days could be permanent degradation of the entire coastal defense infrastructure. This is deterrence by denial, convincing the adversary their objective is unachievable. Iranian planners retain capability to disrupt shipping but lack capability to survive the counterstrike. So oil continues flowing not because the threat vanished, but because the counterweight over the horizon keeps the scale balanced. 21 million barrels daily, guaranteed not by treaties, but by operational capacity. Here's what most people don't understand about naval deterrence in 2026. It's about the promise. For 35 years, USS Abraham Lincoln's motto has been, "Shall not perish." For 3.5 decades, it hasn't been a slogan. It's been a contract between the American people and 5,000 volunteers standing watch on 4.5 acres of sovereign territory. But in the Persian Gulf, that promise means something bigger. The global supply chain shall not perish. 21 million barrels of oil daily shall not perish. Freedom of navigation through the world's most critical choke point shall not perish. Economic stability keeping groceries on shelves and gas in cars shall not perish. Right now, Iranian planners are reviewing satellite imagery of CVN-72. They're running the same calculations: electronic warfare advantage, networked kill chain, Aegis math problem, deep strike capability, 295-day endurance, Red Sea intercepts, $3 billion refit, F-35C integration. And every single day, they choose to do nothing. Not because they fear American aggression, because they've done the math, and the math doesn't lie. The cost of closing Hormuz for 72 hours would be permanent destruction of Iran's entire coastal defense infrastructure. 10 missiles might penetrate, maybe. In exchange, Tehran loses everything it spent 40 years building. That's deterrence that actually works, through proven capability so overwhelming that escalation becomes strategically irrational. The next time you fill up your car or see a flight take off, remember, it's not luck. It's because 5,000 Americans are standing watch on the most complex machine ever built in the most dangerous waters on Earth. They're operating 24/7 flight operations in 120-degree heat. They're maintaining 100% combat readiness while tracked by hostile intelligence. They're managing a kill chain so advanced it neutralizes threats before enemy commanders know they've been detected. They're doing all this so you can sleep soundly without thinking about the Strait of Hormuz. That's the American guarantee. Presence is the deterrent. Capability is the proof. And USS Abraham Lincoln CVN-72, motto "Shall not perish," is the reason the line holds. Because when the Pentagon was out of options and the Middle East was 72 hours from exploding, they didn't send the newest ship or the biggest ship. They sent the ship that had already proven the motto wasn't just words. And that made all the difference. If you enjoyed this video and would love to do a deep dive into videos like this, check our video, How One Ukrainian Drone Sank Russia's Most Advanced Warship. Link in the description below.